Well, Loki Season 2 is over and Episode 6 is in the books, and I have mixed feelings on the entire season and series. But for Kevin Feige and Marvel, Loki Season 2 is going to cause problems for the MCU going forward. What do I mean? Well, I'm going to explain, so let's bust this thing open. Welcome back to Poprageous. I'm Danny Alex. Loki Season 2 is literally a love it or hate it kind of a show. I think there are very few people on the fence on this one. In an earlier review, I described Loki Season 2 as ambitious, and I say this from the perspective of being a screenwriter. Now, I'm not a big fan of the multiverse, multi-timelines, and time travel themes. There's an endless supply of variants, and the tension and stakes are compromised, as death is never a condition that seems permanent.
That doesn't make sense.
Makes sense.
I mean, there are some interesting concepts in this show, but I'm not sure that the theme of this show is a home run with a lot of MCU fans. So at the end of Episode 6, the season finale, Loki has two choices. Allow Sylvie to kill He Who Remains, a Kang variant, which will destroy the temporal loom and eventually everything else with it. Or Loki can kill Sylvie, which prevents her from killing He Who Remains, and this Kang variant stays in charge and everything stays the same. Now, there are a lot of fan theories as to other things that would happen with Kang and the multiverse given each choice, but I'm not even going to go into that chaotic mess of possibilities. Episode 6 spends most of its time having Loki go back and forth in time, trying to change the results of only having two choices.
Are we saying I can time travel?
That sounds too complicated.
And he even spends centuries, you heard right, centuries, learning about physics and how space-time works. But no matter what he does, he still cannot find a way to change the ending. It's kind of like a Edge of Tomorrow kind of a theme. Now, being the god of mischief, Loki does not choose either one of those choices, and he walks out into the temporal conflux, which is where the loom is located in all the timelines. As it bursts, Loki grabs all the timelines and then enters the void at the end of time. Instead of there being He Who Remains in his citadel, quote-unquote Kang, a throne appears. Loki sits in it, and the millions or billions of multiverse timelines forms Yggdrasil, the sacred tree in Norse mythology.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
So now Loki is basically the god of the entire multiverse. I think that's what you would call him. Now, there's a fan theory that suggests Doctor Doom will be taking the place of Kang as the supervillain in Phase 5 and 6 as a result of Loki becoming the god at the center of everything, so the MCU can swap out Jonathan Majors. Sounds plausible, but here's where Kevin Feige and the MCU Phase 5 and 6 storyline may have some major issues. Loki Season 2 is a huge catalyst to everything that happens from here going forward, or at least probably will, in Phase 5. And most people who are going to watch future MCU movies are basically normies. They're not diehard Marvel fans who have watched all of the TV shows, if any, and that includes Loki Season 1 and 2. Parts of the storyline may not make sense, and so you may have an Ahsoka situation where a large part of the audience is missing chunks of the story and are not aware of the events that happen leading into the show or a particular movie. It's one of those problems of having a storyline that jumps back and forth between movies and TV. The streaming TV shows have connecting tissue to the movies and vice versa. It's the hubris of Disney Marvel that they think the average viewer will watch every show, episode, and every movie to connect the dots. But most of the audience are not dedicated diehard fans and may drift away from the MCU because the entire multiverse and alternate timeline stories can become confusing and not give a clear sense of what is happening in the story flow. Diehard fans will immerse themselves in these shows, but the average person who just wants to watch a great superhero movie most likely will not. I think there is huge jeopardy intertwining the story so deeply between the TV and movie formats. Phases 1, 2, and 3 was all done through movies, and well, it worked out pretty good. So if you watch Loki Season 2, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. And subscribe to our channel if you want to hang out with us. If you like what you heard, I thank you for watching. And if you didn't, well, I thank you all the same. And we'll see you in our next video.